Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to Judge Stories. Today's story will keep you on the edge of your seat, and trust me, you won't want to miss a single second. It was a crisp Wednesday morning in Providence Municipal Court. The sunlight glimmered faintly through the tall windows, casting streaks across the polished floor. There was a quiet hum of anticipation as people waited for the next case. But no one expected what would happen next. At the center of the room was Jessica Hall, wife of Police Captain Thomas Hall. She wasn't just walking into the courtroom. She was commanding it. Designer watch glinting, hair perfectly styled, blazer sharp, she twirled her husband's police badge like it was a royal scepter. Seconds later, what she did would shock everyone, including the man whose life she thought she was protecting. That Jessica's heels clicked sharply against the polished floor. Each step was measured, deliberate, almost choreographed. She scanned the courtroom, her eyes landing on the gallery. People whispered. Some admired her poise. Others bristled at the aura of entitlement she carried. Judge Caprio, sitting with his usual calm dignity, looked up from his bench. "Good morning, Ms. Hall," he said. His voice was calm but firm. Jessica's smirk widened faintly. "Good morning, Your Honor," she replied, her tone carrying a subtle challenge. The bailiff called the case, the state of Rhode Island versus Jessica Hall. The murmurs rose. People had heard about the incident. A traffic dispute had escalated far beyond reason, and the police captain's wife was now standing trial. Some leaned forward in curiosity. Others exchanged uneasy glances. Jessica reached into her handbag and dramatically pulled out her husband's badge. She held it high, twirling it between her fingers like a magician showing off a trick. "Your Honor," she began, "surely you understand the weight this badge carries. My husband is the police captain of Providence. This should speak for itself." A hush fell. Judge Caprio's gaze remained steady. "Ms. Hall," he said slowly, "the law applies to everyone equally. A badge does not grant immunity from accountability." Jessica tilted her head, lips curling into a faint, superior smile. "With all due respect, Your Honor, surely this should command respect. My husband." And that's when the seconds she waved that badge would seal her fate began ticking. The badge shone under the courtroom lights. Jessica waved it slowly, theatrically, believing she could bend the room to her will. She assumed the judge would pause, the lawyers would hesitate, the spectators would marvel. But Judge Caprio's expression did not budge. "Place the badge down," he instructed calmly. "This courtroom does not operate on intimidation. Justice here is guided by fairness, not influence or theatrics." Jessica hesitated. For a moment, the room was silent except for the faint rustle of papers. She thought she could push one more show of power. Raising the badge higher, she looked around, seeking awe or fear. Judge Caprio's voice sliced through the tension. "Ms. Hall, it seems you misunderstand the authority in this room. The only power that matters here is truth, responsibility, and the law. That badge cannot shield you from accountability." A ripple of gasps spread. Jessica's smirk faltered. She realized that the theater she had counted on now worked against her. Even her husband, seated at the back, tensed. Seconds later, reality began to sink in. Her privilege meant nothing here. Judge Caprio gestured to the bailiff, who activated the courtroom's video system. The footage from the cafe incident appeared on the monitors. Jessica's actions were clear, aggressive, confrontational, and escalating far beyond a normal dispute. She had been waving the badge, blocking the entrance, and speaking in a threatening tone. Patrons looked uncomfortable. Employees tried to calm her, but she pressed on, using the badge like a shield of authority. The courtroom leaned forward, captivated. Even the seasoned police officers could not hide their unease. Jessica tried to interject. "Your Honor, this doesn't." Judge Caprio raised a hand. "The video speaks for itself. Actions have consequences, regardless of intention. What you believe should protect you does not." The footage showed her shouting at the cafe staff. "Do you know who my husband is? You will answer me now." Her words echoed unervingly in the courtroom. Spectators exchanged looks of disbelief. The once confident woman now seemed small under the weight of undeniable evidence. The charges were laid bare: obstruction, intimidation, and misuse of influence. Judge Caprio spoke slowly, deliberately. These actions cannot be excused by privilege. Justice does not bend for status. Jessica tried to argue, her tone faltering. "I was just." "No," the judge interrupted, his voice firm. "You were obstructing, threatening, and misusing influence. Your actions affected innocent civilians, created fear, and disrupted public trust. The penalties were strict but fair. Fines were imposed, community service mandated, and a formal apology ordered. Most importantly, she was taught the core lesson: the badge is a symbol of responsibility, not a weapon of intimidation." Her husband, Police Captain Hall, sat silently, pale and shaken. For the first time, he realized that influence could not erase wrongdoing. Seconds after the ruling, the courtroom buzzed with whispers. Justice had prevailed, and the ripple effects of arrogance were clear. Jessica was escorted out. She glanced back at Judge Caprio. No theatrics, no anger. Only the quiet authority of a man who understood that fairness outweighs influence. Outside, murmurs spread. Even the police captain's family is not untouchable. Judge Caprio turned to the next case file. But the memory of the badge waved arrogantly in his courtroom lingered, a reminder that unchecked power always has consequences. The story ended with a quiet lesson. Arrogance may give temporary confidence, but accountability is inescapable. Jessica Hall learned that the moment she waved that badge, seconds that would define her reputation forever. What happens next to Jessica Hall? Will she ever regain trust or continue down a path of arrogance? You'll have to subscribe to Judge Stories and watch closely, because no one can predict the next shocking courtroom moment.